fish report. Hanging at the fish report. Hanging at the fish report. Hanging at the fish report. For your latest news in high school sports, tune in to the fish report. Don't need no bed, don't need no pull when you tune in to the fish report. Hanging at the fish report. Hanging at the fish report. You got Craig and TK and Head that D, tune in at the fish report.
Coming to you live from Studio F in Russia, Ohio. It's the Fish Report Live Show with your hosts, Craig Fissinger and Ken Francis.
Welcome, everyone, to the season finale of Fish Report Live. I'm Craig Fissinger. That's Ken Francis. Back in the sound room, you know who's back there. It's TK and Heavy D. Going to be joining those two guys here in just a few moments. And Ken, the season finale of Season 5, and it's also regional tournament weekend. We got a good start tonight with day one of the D3 regional track meet over there in Troy, and setting up to be a fun weekend.
Yes, it is, Craig. Hard to believe. School's out already. Spring is here. It felt like summer today. And, regional baseball, regional softball, track meets in the regionals. And, a great way to start it in Troy tonight. We've got big baseball and softball games tomorrow night. And then the regionals in track and field continue on Friday. And softball, baseball again over the weekend. So a lot of excitement, Craig. A lot of graduation parties. A lot of sports action going on. And here we are at Fish Report, Craig. Season finale, number 5. And Craig, also we got a special interview tonight. Really looking forward to Craig talking to one of the best sports editors in the Miami Valley, if not around this entire area. Craig, he writes fantastic articles, and that's from Press Pros Magazine, and that's Sonny Fulks. Looking forward to talking to Sonny here in a little bit.
Yeah, I read his stuff every day, and looking forward to talking to him about baseball, a lot of high school baseball, even going to throw in a little professional baseball talk with him, and some college baseball. But in high school, everyone trying to get to state this weekend. And speaking of that, tonight's poll question has to do with getting to state, doesn't it?
Yes, it does, Craig. There's 4 really good local baseball teams still in the baseball tournament, 2 in Division 3 and 2 of them in Division 4. Which of these 4 teams has the best chance to make it to state, Craig? Coincidentally enough, actually 3 of these 4 could go to state. Versailles and Anna are 2 of your options. They'll actually possibly meet in the regional final. What a battle that would be between Anna and Versailles. And then up in the Patrick Henry Regional, you got the Division 4 Fort Recover Indians, Craig. And down in Springfield, held at Wittenberg University, the Cavaliers of Lehman. Coach King got his team having a very good season, Craig. They've got a good chance as well. So which of those 4 teams has the best chance to get to Columbus?
Yeah, 4 teams we know very well because our Russia Raiders, of course, played all 4 of those teams. And if you want to help us answer tonight's poll question and you're watching us on the Fish Report Live page on the internet, you can scroll down, check the answer, click the answer you want, and check the results. If you're watching us on NK Telco or Game Face Ohio, we will have those results for you at the end of the show. Well, Ken, let's get our regional tournament talk started, and let's get started with day 1 of the regional track meet down there in Troy. And Ken, we kind of kicked things off with the girls 4x8 down there. What a race that was, wasn't it?
Yes, it was, Craig. What a way to start the track meet down there in Troy. Just a loaded field there with Minster and the MAC schools, of course, coming in. The Shelby County League schools led by Russia and Bokkins. But Craig, when it all ended up, the Minster Lady Wildcats, Craig, they were crowned regional champions, running a time of 9:28. The Russia Raiders, Craig, finished 3rd spot, punching their ticket for Jesse Owens Stadium, Craig, running a very respectable 9-minute, 35-second split or a time. So congratulations to both of those teams, and as they'll take their team to Columbus next weekend.
Yeah, I know you made that comment before the show started that when Russia won a state championship a few years ago, they ran, what, a 9:36,
Craig. So, some very good times posted at Troy tonight. And like you said, when the Raiders won their state championship just a few years ago, they ran a 9:36. So, good luck to all those teams. And on the boys' side, Craig, the only local team punching their ticket in the 4x8 was the Fort Laramie Redskins. They've got a very good 4x8 team over there this year, Craig. They ran an 8:17.
All right, and then we had some other results in field events, a few results on the boys and girls side, didn't we?
Yeah, we did, Craig. On the girls high jump, second place from Minster went to Jordan Heitbrink. She cleared 5'4". In the girls shot put, Craig, we had several advancers to Columbus next week, led by second place Savannah Luthman from Minster. Third place, Craig, went to Grace Homan of Botkins. Fourth place, Mandy Mueller of New Bremen. On the boys' side, Craig, in the pole vault, first place, Jeff Murphy from Covington.
The Jet Murphy. And talk about a great name for a track guy, Jet Murphy. I was sitting with TK tonight at the game or at the track meet, and I told TK, what a name for a track guy, Jet.
That's Dick Vitale would love that name if he played basketball too. That's just a great name, Jet. Second place went to Alan Holdheide of Fort Laramie. Fourth place, Ethan Monin of Minster. And in the boys' discus, Josh Miller from Botkins had a great day, Craig. He advanced to state as well.
Yeah, that was interesting to see, especially in that shot, 3 local girls with Minster, New Bremen, and then also at Botkins, sending 3 local girls in the shot. Neat to see that. And
big day for Botkins there. You know, a lot of Botkins kids advancing to Columbus already in that first day. And, good day for Minster as well. And but a lot of it, Craig, comes down to the qualifiers, who advanced to the finals on Friday night. And it'll make for an interesting regional meet at Troy Friday night.
Yeah, a lot of great competition looking forward to. And one thing that was a little different about this weekend than last weekend when we ran the districts at West Milton was the temperature. And last weekend it was cold. Tonight a little bit hot, and makes a difference, doesn't it?
Yes, it does, Craig. Really makes a big difference, especially in those distance races. You got girls that are going to try to double up in the 1600 and the 3200. I said girls or boys, either one, but definitely plays a big factor into it. Now, Russia will be or the Division III meet will be Friday evening. Craig, I looked at the forecast calling for temperatures in the upper 70s, low 80s. Going to be very tough to be doubling up. So those kids running the 16 and the 32, they're going to have to use some strategic planning there. How much do I want to spend in this race? How much do I want to save for this race? So it'll be interesting.
Yeah, looking forward to that. And let's move ahead, Ken, and talk a little bit of regional softball now. And for that, I want to go back to the sound room and check in with TK back there. And TK, got a couple local teams left in regional softball, the couple teams that we know fairly well because they've been on this show this season, haven't they?
Yes, they have. I guess we know how to pick them. Early in the season of Season 5 here, we had our first interview with Coach Brent New of Houston and his Lady Wildcats, a team that year in and year out is always good at softball, and this is no exception. Co-champs with the Our Lady Raiders of the Shelby County League this year, and they are still in the tournament hunt. They will play against New Bremen, the Cardinals, and we talked to their AD, Gary Jones, early this season, talked a lot about track with his daughter and some other sports going on. But they will meet on Thursday at 5 at Northmont High School. That is originally scheduled for Centerville High School. So anybody planning to go to Centerville, please change your GPS to Northmont and don't end up in the wrong place at the wrong time. So look for that Thursday night. That will be a good game against 2 really good teams.
Well, it's nice having 2 local teams there, TK battling it out in the regional semifinals. The only thing better than that is if those 2 teams could meet in the regional finals. Would make it even more interesting?
Yeah, I know, TK, you mentioned that Houston is a traditionally good team, and you're right, they are. They seem to be in it every year. But I was, I guess, I was a little bit amazed to read in the paper earlier this week that it's Houston's first district title. They won the first district title since 2002. So it's been a little while. A little surprised to hear that. And I'm guessing that tomorrow night's matchup will be between their ace over there at New Bremen, Sophie Fox, very good pitcher this year, and also Kayla New over there at Houston. And looking forward to seeing that matchup.
Mm-hmm. One thing when I wanted to touch base, I'll mention a few weeks ago, Craig, we talked about regional baseball. We briefly mentioned, I know we're going to touch base with Sonny Fulks on that, but, I mentioned the possibility of a Versailles, Anna, regional championship game, and how much that would be great to see. Two great teams, two really good baseball programs, and Craig, they're only a game away from facing in the regional finals, and what an atmosphere that would be if those two teams advance and win one more game.
Yeah, that would. We'll look forward to talking about that exact thing with Sonny here a little bit later. But while we've got the sound room queued up back there, I want to go back to Heavy D. And Heavy D, we've been doing a segment this spring with you on famous TV shows that Fish Report Live has passed up, and want to check in with you on that again tonight. I know tonight it's episode number 159.
Yep.
So what famous shows have we passed up tonight?
We've been having a lot of fun with this, Craig, the last half of the season, and more fun yet to come tonight. So let's start out with a cast of characters that all have bad haircuts. From cast of Benson. Benson was that wisecracking, level-headed butler that kind of took care of this odd duck-looking family here. But
I remember that show. I remember it.
What gets me about this show is that the introduction, it looks like they lived in the White House. That's what the mansion looked like, the White House.
Good stuff there. What any other shows that we may have passed up with episode 159?
Matter of fact, there is one more, the Dick Van Dyke Show with starring Dick Van Dyke, and on the left there is Mary Tyler Moore.
Nice.
And just a hot little tip about that hot little number. There were 60 actresses that auditioned for the role that Mary Tyler Moore went on to get, and she almost skipped the audition.
What? She was a good pick, and she eventually went on to, I think she had her own show, didn't she? The Mary Tyler Moore Show.
Not to be outdone.
Good stuff there, Heavy D, and that's going to end your segment there of famous TV shows that we passed up. Appreciate you doing that. Look forward to that every week. Didn't
Absolutely, a lot of good shows, and I'm looking forward to who we all pass next fall when we start the show back up in the August September time frame. So getting pretty famous back there, sound room guys.
I'm still impressed with last week when he said we passed up Fantasy Island. I still can't get over the fact that we passed up Fantasy Island.
I used to watch that show all the time.
Good stuff. And with that, we're going to take a short break, but stay right there because when we come back, we're going to talk some regional tournament baseball, including that interview with Press Pros Magazine editor Sonny Fulks.
Stage at the leaving van. Music starts at 8 o'clock. You can find us here every Wednesday night. It's usually the same cats every week, but I can't tell you all their names. Teacher, cat, and a junkie, all waiting for time to play. Everybody here's got something that we're trying to leave behind. We're all a little broken, for a place to hide. Get no answers, don't ask any questions. We're all here just looking for a high. And we're all beautifully broken here tonight.
Welcome, everyone, back to the second half of Fish Report Live. Ken, before the break, we were talking some regional tournament track, also talking some regional softball. We're going to talk a little regional baseball tonight. And our next guest is a guy that knows baseball, I know, better than you and I, and that's because he has actually played baseball for the Buckeyes. He's umpired professionally, and he also writes about it every week for his website, PressProsMagazine.com. He's Sonny Fulks, and we're happy to have him live on the show right now. Sonny, welcome to Fish Report Live, and thanks for joining us.
It's always fun to be with you guys. Thanks for calling.
Well, listen, we know you're not on Fish Report time right now. That's because you're out in Omaha, Nebraska, covering the Big Ten tournament. And, Sonny, most of us here haven't been to an Ohio State baseball game, much less the Big Ten tournament. And I noticed you've been covering the Buckeyes a lot this season. Is that fun for you? Is that work for you? What's the reason for all the coverage?
Well, one of the reasons is it's a market that is conducive to us to go in and move Press Pros into, and that's Central Ohio, and that's something we'll be doing a lot more in the future. The other reason is, of course, I've got a background with Ohio State baseball, played there 40 years ago, have a lot of contacts there, people who have seen our publication, liked it, wanted to know if we could adapt it and do something to help promote and publicize Ohio State baseball across the 88 counties of the state. So we started doing this 3 years ago. We're almost to 800,000 readers across the state this year. And it's been very successful for us. And, of course, we also get to see Adam Niemeyer, who's going to hopefully make an appearance here this weekend. Buckeyes are about 15 minutes from taking the field here against the University of Michigan.
All right, well, we won't keep you more than 15 minutes, but I know the tournament just got underway here. So what's the format for the Buckeyes? And you mentioned Adam Niemeyer. Is he going to have a role in this somehow?
Well, they're hoping he has a role. Obviously, Tanner Tully, who's their number one starter, is going to pitch tonight against Michigan. He'll get that start. But, Adam has been their number 2 or 3 starter here for them for the last 5 or 6 weeks, either he or John Havard. The problem with Adam is he's had a bulky hamstring injury that continues to flare up on him, and he's missed some starts, about 3 or 4 starts, and he's had to come out a couple of starts early because the hamstrings giving him problems during the game. But I know Greg Beal certainly hopes that he has a chance, to come out here because he's pitched well. He's done everything that they've asked him to do, and I'm sure he makes them more competitive, and they would like to see him get a chance.
All right, and I want to move ahead, Sonny, and of course the big news around the area here this week was the promotion of Fort Laramie alum Jared Hoyne to the major leagues there in the Texas Rangers organization. Wanted to get your thoughts on that. I know you know Jared, and what your thoughts are on that move.
Well, I know. First of all, it's just a great feeling to see somebody like Jared get a shot 7 years into his career. He's been an A-ball, he's been a double-A, this is his 3rd or 4th year at AAA, and he's, he was sick last year, he had mono during the year. I know they had high hopes for him. They love him in the organization because I've talked to scouts and people with the Texas Rangers, and they have, they've hoped that he would have the kind of year that he's had at Round Rock in AAA this year. He's hitting 320, he's got 7 home runs, driven in 35 RBIs, and he's got a 400 on-base percentage. So, they've had some injury in their outfield, and the logical choice, as John Daniels, their general manager, the other day said, was you can't overlook Jared Hoyne anymore. He's got the numbers, plays hard, plays the game the right way. We want to see him get a shot and see what he does at this level.
What do you, Sonny? I want to ask you one more question on Jared. What do you think what's the reality of him staying up in the major leagues once Chu gets healthy? I know Hamilton. It sounds like he's out for the season, and then also Stubbs. I mean, once those guys get healthy, is you think Hoyne will go back down, or what's the reality of the situation there?
Well, if I was a betting man, I'd say 60-40. He'll go back down. Now, a lot of this is on Jared. If Jared goes up there and hits the cover off the ball and makes it impossible for them to send him back because he's a very good outfielder. He's got a strong arm. He runs well enough. They like him, the way he can play all 3 outfield positions. So if Jared goes up there and hits the ball well, he can make it very hard in terms of a decision for them to send him back.
Sonny, hi. This is Ken Francis. Let's talk a little bit about high school baseball, a sport I know that you obviously know a lot about. You write some fantastic articles on. I've read your articles for years on high school baseball in all your articles. But first we'll start with the regional tournament, Division III. We're going to talk about two teams, Sonny, that I liked all year. The Anna Rockets and Versailles Tigers. They're a game away. They're both in the regional semifinals. They're a game away from a head-to-head clash for a trip to Columbus. What do you like about these two teams? And if they meet, who you like?
Well, I'll tell you what I like about any team at this stage of the year, Ken, and that is they've got pitching. They've got arms. I'll talk first of all about Anna. I was very impressed when I saw Chris's team play Lehman about a month ago, and he said then, we think we have 4 or 5 competitive arms and kids who want the opportunity to send us to the next game and to the next level. And, of course, Alex Brinkman is a Division I signee to play, I think, at Bowling Green next year. So he's their number one, and he's a real strong number one. And so you like them because they got 3 or 4 arms. Same thing with Versailles. They start with Brett McEldaney. And, then they've got Smoke, Cole, can't think of his last name right now, coming in behind him. They got, again, can't think of his last
Cole
name.
Niekamp.
Yeah, that's right. So McEldaney has been superb for him, gave him a gym against Summit Country Day the other day. He's pitching with a lot of confidence. I frankly thought Versailles would score more runs than they have this year. But, we've seen it all day here in the Big Ten tournament. We've seen 2 top seeds get knocked out here by lesser teams because they had good pitching. Mm-hmm. And Iowa did that to Minnesota a few minutes ago, and Michigan State knocked out Nebraska earlier today because they had the pitching to turn off those big offenses. So that's what I like the most about those teams, especially in high school baseball. If you've got 2 pitchers back-to-back, you can really make some noise at the end of the season.
You know, Sonny, I agree with you. I've been around high school baseball a long time, and good pitching will win you a lot of games. You get a guy throws hard, throws a lot of strikes, and plays a good defense behind you, you're going to win a lot of baseball games.
You're going to win a lot of baseball games because, especially when you get guys, and those guys I talked about are aggressive. Alex Brinkman's going to come right after you. He won't nibble. Brett McEldaney won't nibble. The pitchers that Fort Recovery's had up there this year come right after you. You know, Nick Quates and Jackson Hobbs. You know, they say, here it is. We'll put it in play and we'll catch it if you hit it.
I like that about a high school pitcher. No reason to nibble the corners. Just throw strikes, save the pitch count, and let your defense work for you. Speaking of the Fort Recovery Indians, let's talk a little bit about Division IV here. We got the Lehman Cavaliers, Fort Recovery Indians, different regionals this year. Maybe you can explain a little bit of that. First time in many years that this has happened. I wish it would have happened a few years ago for our Russia Raiders' sakes. But regardless of that, what's your thoughts on both of those teams, and what are their chances? Because they both got pretty nice teams.
Well, let's talk about Lehman first because I just said wealth of pitching is what really does it for you this time of year, and I think it's remarkable that they are in the position they're in because they don't have that wealth of pitching. They lost their number one, or one of their really top arms here, the Bosway kid, Nate Bosway, with coming back from Tommy John surgery, had a flare up here last week. He's done.'s finished for the year, and behind them they got Parker Riley, who's won 10 times for them this year. So he's had a great year, but behind that, it's all men on deck. And Dave would tell you that. Dave King, their coach, would tell you that if anybody can come in who's got a heartbeat and can throw strikes, they're eligible to pitch for us. On the other hand, when you talk about Fort Recovery, they got those 2 great ones I just told you about. Jackson Hobbs, who has got 20 wins over the last 2 years, and Nick Quates, who transferred in there this year, throws real hard. He's going to be a great Division I prospect. He's only a sophomore for the next couple of years. And the nice thing about Recovery is they've been there. They've been to the big show last year. They got knocked out by Newark Catholic, who's the 8-time state champion. They have played against tough competition. They can make the plays behind those 2 pitchers, and they'll score enough runs to make themselves credible in the next 3 or 4 games in this tournament. They really want to get back to Columbus because, as Jackson Hobbs told me the other day, we've got that better second arm to back me up this year, and we're excited about that.
Yeah, they got a great team. I seen them play over at Russia earlier in the year, and like you said, two really good pitchers there, well coached, good fundamental baseball team.
Yeah, they're a good fundamental baseball team, and that's a good story, Ken, about Fort Recovery right now because over the years they've been at the bottom of that league in football and baseball, and they've always been a pretty good basketball team. But now they've got a great cycle of athletes. They've got some great coaches over there right now. Jerry Kalp's their baseball coach, passionate about doing it and doing it the right way. Loves his kids. They love to play for him. And that's a real good story right now at Fort Recovery. They're having a lot of fun over there, as you know, and from how much fun it's been around Russia for years from baseball and basketball success. Well, they're having that over there right now, and it'd be great to see it continue a little bit.
Hey, Sonny, I want to ask you one more high school baseball question. You mentioned there in the Big Ten tournament how some of the top teams get knocked out because of good pitching. One of the teams that I guess I was surprised to see get knocked out in Division III, of course, was the Coldwater Cavaliers. They came off a game, I think, in which they won something like 18-0, and they go into that district game and get beat. Were you surprised, as the rest of us, to see them bow out that early in the tournament?
Yeah, kind of shocked, actually, because I don't know much about Elmwood, of course, don't get to see them ever. But, apparently you go up there, and this is the thing about baseball. You get on a given day a guy that's having a pitcher that's having the game of his life, and he can break your heart. Throw strikes, throw the breaking, and I understand that he threw the breaking pitch for strikes. Coldwater's a dead red fastball hitting team, as most high school teams are. And when you get a guy that throws you off your timing and takes the fastball away from your hitting arsenal, you can have some real problems. And that's what happened to them. They went up there and they found a guy who was just having his day and probably the best game of his life. And you can come back on a very quiet bus when that happens to you.
Mm-hmm. Well, Sonny, listen, hey, great stuff. You always have an interesting perspective, and we enjoy reading your stuff, like Ken said, every day on PressProsMagazine.com. Couldn't think of a better guest to have for our season finale tonight. We sure appreciate you taking the time to talk with us. We sure hope you have a great summer. Look forward to talking to you again next fall.
Well, you guys do a great job on your show. I enjoy when I get an opportunity to listen, and I always appreciate you giving me a call. A lot of fun.
Thanks, Sonny. Safe travels out there in Omaha, and go Bucks tonight, right?
All right, guys. See you soon.
Yep.
All right, and that was Sonny Fulks of Press Pros Magazine. And Ken, like I was sincere when I said that. What a great guy to have for our season finale.
Absolutely. Craig, like I said before, I enjoy reading his articles, not only the Russia articles, but articles about anybody in general. He does a great job, and interesting that he's out in Omaha right now covering the Big Ten tournament, but obviously there's always a much bigger tournament played out in Omaha here about a month from now, and that's the College World Series. So what a great venue to be at for the Buckeyes to be playing in the Big Ten tournament.
Good stuff out there. And let's go back to the sound room one last time this season, Ken, and get back to tonight's poll question. We want to get the answer from those guys. I guess before we do that, though, why don't you read the poll question again to our viewers?
Talking to our viewers tonight, which local baseball team do you feel has the best chance to make the state tournament this year? Is it Anna, Versailles, Fort Recovery, or Lehman? TK, what do the telemetrics have to say?
All right, it was a highly contested vote tonight, quite unlike last week's, but Fort Recovery has the 50% of the vote, so I think everybody's looking along the lines of Sonny and the rest of us. When you have two tough pitchers going into tournament, you've got to be the favorite. So that's what all of our viewers, or 50% of our viewers, are saying, and that's the winning team, Fort Recovery.
Very good point with Fort Recovery, and like you mentioned, you got to have that pitching in the regional tournament, and of course, like you said, if Anna and Versailles play each other, one of those teams is going to be out of the picture.
Right, and I like Anna Versailles. I like one of them two teams going. I'm not sure which one, but not that anybody's a shoo-in, but if I had to pick one of them for, it'd be Fort Recovery. Not only, they got two great pitchers, but, they got sent up to up north this year. I don't know a whole lot about that regional, Craig, but I would almost have to tend to say that might not be quite as tough as what the Wittenberg region is.
I think the key at this point in the season is to avoid any type of injury, kind of like Adam Niemeyer with his bulky hamstring.
Or Lehman losing Nate Bosway, of course. That was if Lehman had Nate Bosway yet, I'll tell you what. I would be shocked if they wouldn't go to state. But without Nate Bosway, Sonny said a little bit ago, their backup pitcher is by committee. So you don't know what you're going to get. Parker Riley's had a great year for the Rockets, but for the Cavaliers, but you don't know what you're going to get after that.
All right, well, guys, listen, that is that's going to wrap it up for season 5. 34 episodes this season, 60-some guests. It's been a lot of fun.
A lot of fun. Looking forward already to next fall, cross country and volleyball season.
It's going to be a lot of fun. I hope everyone out there has a great summer, and we look forward to seeing you again next fall. So until then, everyone, again, have a great summer, and we'll see you in the fall.
Hanging at the fish report. 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 For your latest news in high school sports, tune in to the fish report. Don't need no bed, don't need no pull. When you tune in to the fish report. Hanging at the fish report.